Rain.
Meow.
Snow. Rain.
Meow.
Snow.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Doing good.
Yes, we're still in Denver.
Yeah.
And we are recording a Q&A in Denver, which honestly wasn't planned, but we ran out of time.
You did. That's it.
Yeah, we ran out of time before leaving for Denver, and so here we are. Nothing will stop us from answering our listeners' cues. Are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, this first question is from V as in the letter. Dear Shandy, hello. Longtime listener and eagerly await new episodes every week. Thank you, V. One point you've brought up periodically that I have been ruminating over is the fact that most people don't usually write into a podcast if they are in a great relationship. I'd like to push back. This concept has inspired my question today, smiley face. I am in a loving and wonderful relationship. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, married for 4. I'm 32, he's 36, and we met and live in Tokyo, Japan, although neither of us is Japanese. Go figure.
Jealous.
V, how did you do that from like a visa standpoint? I want to know.
And a language standpoint, do they speak Japanese?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could work on the language, but it's not easy to just move to Japan, I don't think. Although it sounds like they both maybe already lived there.
I want to know.
I know, me too. V, tell us. I love my husband so much and feel that we work really well together. However, recently I feel frustrated that I have no one to vent to about him when once in a while I think he's being unreasonable. In my mind, it's basically wrong to ever complain about my frustrations to family members or friends. I respect him way too much, and venting could cause someone to change or alter their opinion about him unfairly. I love and respect him too much to talk poorly about him. But recently I find myself going crazy and wish there was an outlet to let out some steam. I've actually drafted messages to your podcast just wanting some third-party anonymous perspective, but felt too guilty to ever send. It's a lot of guilt over something that I think is pretty common.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Once you are married or are in a serious relationship, is it ever appropriate to vent about your partner? If so, where and how? I've thought a therapist might be one idea, but that's a lot of money for a venting session. Thank you, V.
I know what I think about this.
Okay. Want to go
And
first?
I've run into this problem many times with my friends.
Yeah. What do you mean? I said,
Male
yeah,
and
like
female.
I knew. Okay.
No, I've been always careful about this because when I'm in a good relationship, which hasn't been often until I met you,
you've been in good relationships.
No, but they've been always fraught with some issue. There's
Okay.
always some issue. I'm always unsettled.
Okay.
You know, the first 3 to 6 months, yeah, sure, I've had a few really good ones of those. But then there becomes issues where I'm unsettled, right?
Yeah.
And I want to sort of talk to people about it.
Talk shit.
You want to talk shit? But I have never been one to do that because I feel strongly that when you talk shit about your relationship to someone else, that person is colored permanently.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like, you're like, oh, I'm so happy. But then one time you have this whole session of like, oh, and he does this and this. And they're like, oh, I'm colored now.
Yes.
I think that this relationship has problems and I'm never going to stop thinking that. Maybe 10, 15 years down the road, if nothing else happens bad, I'll be like, okay, maybe they fixed it. But it's a permanent thing. When people pitch to me about the relationship, I'm like, oh, that's a bad relationship right away.
Especially since chances are you're not also raving about how great it is.
Yeah.
As much as you are bitching.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like
that's
you're
like, it seems arrogant when you do that.
Exactly. They're only getting half the story. And I feel there's a lot of, I have strong feelings about this, that when you do vent to someone else about your relationship, they're getting a tiny peek, just a little window in a big house into your relationship. And it's all negative.
It's like a peek into the part of your bathroom that's like really gross and there's products everywhere and it's like it needs to be cleaned, or maybe the laundry's like all over the floor, but you're like, but wait, the rest of my house is really clean.
Oh, totally.
Oh my God, an analogy.
That's a great analogy. I'll even take it a step further. It's like someone's like, oh, I can't wait to see your new apartment. You're like, yeah. They come in, you blindfold them and you're like, hold on a second. You take them right to that part in the back of the toilet where like there's like stale urine stains and like stuff you just can't reach to clean. And they're like, there it is.
Welcome.
It really is an unfair peek into a relationship because the relationship is a million things. It's not just fighting and something annoying.
And
that
how many
does.
people, like I said, spend all the time talking about the good stuff. Like people don't even want to listen to that.
No one wants to listen to that.
Yeah.
They love let me hear the problems.
Yes.
They love hearing problems. And then they like to internalize them and be like, they have those problems and I don't. Maybe they'll compare it to their own relationship. Oh, my relationship is great. I don't have those problems. My girlfriend, she keeps bitching to me about her guy and like, we're so good. And he's like, yeah, we're good. We don't have those problems. And then suddenly it becomes a thing. But that's just one of the issues.
Yeah.
Is coloring your relationship poorly amongst your friend group.
Which it doesn't sound like she seems hyper conscious of even doing that, which is why she hasn't done it yet. So I guess what we're saying so far is that you agree with her actions.
I agree with her,
okay.
And I think there's other issues too. There are other issues with this, and one of the biggest ones is not everyone has a tight-lipped mouth.
Oh yeah, loose lips.
Loose lips.
I learned
are
that
abound.
from you. I learned the loose lips thing from you.
Loose lips sink ships.
A lot of people, they just they see this information as currency.
They own it.
Now it's theirs, and they can do with it what they
and
will.
they'll go like they'll tell their friends like, oh, listen, you got to keep this secret. Don't tell anybody.
And the further it goes down the telephone line,
How many people can know about your relationship who've told the next person you can't tell anybody about this?
Yeah.
But like, does that still not count as people knowing about it, even though they were told not to tell anybody about it, but they did anyway?
Okay, so I do. Wait, I want to know. Then, do you just agree with her, and then she should just keep it to herself? She should bottle it up because I have a different.
I'm not finished.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to finish everything, and then you go.
Okay.
I got to get this all out of the way because my thoughts are clear.
Okay.
So number one, it colors your relationship badly in other people's eyes, and that's human. It's not their fault. It's because you're only getting that little glimpse of information. Number two, people can't shut their mouths.
Yeah.
One way or another, if you put the information into the universe, there's a good chance it's going to slip out.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then the next thing you know, several people, and the telephone game will make it even worse. Some people will be like, oh, they have a bad relationship. We don't want to go on a a double date with them. It's going to be awkward.
After 5 telephone calls, suddenly you have a horrible relationship.
Yeah, you're about to get divorced.
Yeah.
It goes from like, oh, he doesn't leave the toilet seat, he leaves the toilet seat up to we're getting divorced. So that's number two. Number three, and this isn't a problem, this is my solution. You have to have a dedicated ventee who's been vetted, long time, close confidant friend, trustworthy. You know that they don't talk shit. They don't talk behind your back. They are they're like it's like going to confession, like they're a priest.
Yes.
You value them higher than any other authority in your life. That's the person you can bitch to, and you can bitch away to them. Don't overuse it because then they're going to start not liking you as a friend. That's another layer.
Wait, who's yours?
But I don't vent.
Oh my God. So on your high horse over there.
If I vent, it's probably Dove.
Okay. All right. So I agree completely with that last point. I have a specific friend who I vent to when I'm upset about you, and you know who it is.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even live near us, and she's been married longer than us. And so she really understands, I think, the idiosyncrasies of marriage and just irritation with one another and just sort of, that moment of irrationality. But another crucial detail is that she's way more so my friend than yours. She's not a mutual friend. She's my friend who you've met here and there.
That's also important.
Yeah. Dove is your friend. I'm not hanging out with Dove on the weekends. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think that's really important because it means that person has your back and they're not like, oh, I have morality issues with being told this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going around and spreading that. Actually, I find oftentimes when I vent to my particular friend about this, not that I vent to her that often, but she often will be like, Andy's such a great guy. Like, I'm sure it was just blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not what I want to hear.
See, I got to your ventee. You didn't know about that.
Yeah, you buttered her up.
Yeah.
But of course she's right. She comes into it from the perspective of, your marriage is strong. This is a moment. It's a moment in time. Like, you're upset right now. I relate. I totally have been there, but not like, ooh, yeah, tell me more. Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
Because we all have friends like that. I've had girlfriends.
Most people are like that.
Yeah, I've had girlfriends where I swear to God, you could see them like frothing at the mouth when they thought there was a chance I was going to start talking shit about you.
Who are they? I know who they are.
So, okay, have we answered this? Oh, yeah. V.
Yeah.
Find your
ventee.
Your ventee.
Get a ventee. And if you don't have a ventee, you got to go professional. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting is that I actually don't vent to my therapist about you very much at all.
No.
Which I might have thought in the beginning that's what it would have become, but it's really more so about my internal thoughts and feelings. And occasionally you'll play into that, but not really. So I feel like her specific issue is not really as much a therapy thing and more so finding that core group or that core friend, that venti friend who she really trusts and who's really more so her friend than her husband's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who understands long-term relationships. That's really important because someone who's never been in a relationship for more than a year and they've been together for 10, like they're just not going to understand it in the same way, I don't think.
Yeah. There are many techniques to find a venti. One is
Techniques.
This is the Starbucks venti, but one is
Oh, God.
is that not yeah.
Go on.
One technique is tried and true. This is age old. This goes back to probably like Stone Age.
What?
So it's one of the oldest tricks in the book. You have a potential venti, right?
Okay.
And
You're vetting them.
You're vetting them, and they think they've passed, but then you drop something on them and you say, "Don't tell anybody," but you tell them something good.
Oh.
Something good that you don't want anyone to know. You're like, "I don't want anyone to know this."
Yeah, but people don't spread good information. People aren't like, ha 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 ha, I'm going to spread that good rumor.
Oh, that's a good point. Let me start that again. Okay, I do that again. You say, "Listen, I got something to tell you. It's not good," and you just make something up. It doesn't even matter.
Apparently, Taylor Swift did that with her friends.
Oh, yeah. It's been done.
I read about that. I don't know if it's true. I read
Countries
about
have
this.
done that.
Yeah.
Leaders of nations have done that with warring parties. Like
Yeah.
this has been done many times. You tell them something that's juicy. I mean, you make up something real juicy and it's not good. And you tell that to them and you say, just keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody. And you make sure that's, your venti should be in your group of friends. And then you just poll your friends like a couple of weeks later. You're like, oh, did you hear about that thing? And they're like, oh, yeah, we all heard about it.
So I heard that Taylor Swift discovered that there was a rat in her group of friends that was like sort of leaking stories to the press and stuff. Ooh. And so she told each, I don't know if this is true. I read this somewhere, probably in a tabloid. It probably isn't true, but I thought it was clever. She told each of her friends a different thing so that she could track it. And she found who the person was.
Wow. Can you
imagine being that famous?
That's
that
terrible.
Would suck.
It's terrible.
You have to think about shit like that.
It's awful.
Okay, I think we answered this one.
Yeah, be careful about finding your venti, but only find one.
Yeah, and in general, there's so much guilt in here about venting about your husband. Like, you have a good relationship. I don't think you need to lose so much sleep about venting. Like, just find the right person and then vent away.
Yeah.
It doesn't reflect negatively on your relationship necessarily. I think if it's happening on a weekly basis, maybe, but it sounds like it's just sporadic. Like, it's okay. You're human. People get on each other's nerves. You get on mine and I get on yours.
And oftentimes if you have the urge to vent, usually I find it better to just sort it out with your partner.
Oh, Andy.
I'm an angel.
Look at that halo on your head.
I'm just saying.
Okay, let's move on. This next question is from Chrissy. Dear Shandy, longtime listener who would love some advice. My name is Chrissy, a 29-year-old female from Oregon. My story starts at age 21, as this is when I met my first love, S. S and I met in college and were friends initially. I always had a giant crush on him, and a few months in, I learned the feeling was mutual. We dated for a total of 3.5 years and had a wonderful relationship. I adored S from the moment I met him, when we broke up, and now. The reason I broke up with S is because I was curious about a world outside our relationship. I wanted to travel, focus on my job, be single for a while, and date around. I felt like we were holding each other back. Due to it being a tough breakup, we decided to 100% cut ties so we could move on healthily. I'm so glad we made this decision as it pushed us both to find ourselves. Okay, flash forward to present day. My best friend is getting married in our hometown and I'm a bridesmaid in the wedding. As I'm walking down the aisle, guess who I lock eyes with? Yep, S. I gave him a smile and he returned it with a smile/nod. During the wedding, he pulled me aside and we caught up. Our chemistry was great. I'd forgotten how well we got on and how much we made each other laugh. He told me how rough the breakup was for him and was glad we kept our distance for the past few years. After the wedding, I can't stop thinking about him. I'm feeling a deep sense of loss. My question to you is, should I reach out and try to hang out with him again? Am I just mourning a past relationship? I have no idea if he felt the same spark as I did during the wedding. I also want to respect him because he clearly stated he was glad we kept our distance the last few years. I am at a loss on how to process this situation and would love your perspective. Cheers, Chrissy.
Leave the past behind.
Oh, you think so?
That's where it belongs.
Oh, we have a different take already on this. So you think it's meant to be in the past?
Yes.
The thing is, it wasn't, when they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's, you break up because it's broken. I really relate to her reasons for ending that relationship at the time she did. They met when she was 21. They dated for 3.5 years. I totally felt that itch when I was 24, 25 with my then longtime boyfriend. And I was like, is this it? I'm just going to marry my first real boyfriend, and you start wondering what else is out there. What I'm saying is that their relationship wasn't necessarily flawed. It's that they were just young. It was the time in their life. So now they've had time apart. I don't think it's not worth re-exploring, to use a lot of double negatives.
Did he seem interested?
Well, she said she wasn't sure. She felt a lot of chemistry and maybe she could just reach out, and maybe he's not. Maybe he's got a girlfriend. You never know. She didn't really mention that part. I feel like it would have come up.
It's digging up old bodies. You know what digging up old bodies entails?
A shovel?
Yeah, and a lot of smelliness.
Okay.
It stinks.
I don't totally agree. I just think that it's the unknown here could haunt her, the what if of it. And I think a crucial detail is it didn't end because they were fighting all the time or they weren't compatible or whatever.
Yeah, but if something ends, generally there's something other than just I want to move and explore the world. There's something else. Because if you find true love, you don't ever want to leave it. You'll die for it. I don't buy that.
I don't know. I really relate to why she ended that relationship when she did. So, wow, do we already disagree? We have two different takes on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't disrespect your opinion. I think it's worth your curiosity if you want to sate your curiosity.
Yeah, and sating that curiosity honestly could be sending a DM saying, hey, it would be great to hang out for coffee sometime. Like, I realized I missed you. And he could be like, oh, actually, it was really hard for me to get over you and I don't want to go there again. And then it's like, okay, now I know. Or maybe he's like, I have a girlfriend and we're on the verge of getting engaged. Like, okay, now I know. It's the knowing.
Sure. If you want to do that, then I'm okay with it. But just beware that you might get stuck back in a relationship that you realize, oh, it wasn't just about me spreading my wings and seeing the world. There were other issues here. And now I'm back in it. And now it's twice as hard to break up because we're older and it's more complicated.
And it smells.
And now it smells like a corpse.
Okay. It might be a little premature anyway to even have this conversation because they just talked at a wedding. I think this could just be, she could dip her toe in with a friendly text message or phone call and I don't know, feel it out.
I'm okay with the toe dipping.
Yeah. It's possible she is also looking at it through rose-colored glasses because she's dated a bunch of other people who maybe weren't as high quality, but that doesn't mean that there are not other high quality people that she could then meet later. You know what I mean?
Can I say something very sexist? Am I allowed to?
What?
I think when women go to weddings, they get kind of a little...
You think so?
A little bit.
Okay, you think they get a little nostalgic?
Put it this way: I've never been to a better venue for having a fling than a wedding.
Wow! Okay.
I mean, to me, it's like Halloween.
Like picking up on Halloween.
Yeah, it's like New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, by the way, not a good night to meet a girl.
Oh, really?
Total fallacy.
But if you're looking for like
Halloween,
to pick up, Halloween's the night.
Halloween's the night.
What about
Halloween's always
4th of July?
No.
Okay,
No.
so New Year's Eve, 4th of July, all
4th
crappy.
of July is basically like a glorified barbecue.
But Halloween, girls are looking to hook up.
Halloween is the night. I have done it. I am a veteran of this game. I am telling you, Halloween is the night.
Wow. Okay.
Don't wear a costume that crimps your style either. Don't wear something where your face is totally covered. That makes life difficult.
Wait, for the man or the woman?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah.
Okay, so your point is that you think that maybe having been at a wedding, celebrating her friend's love, that it might have skewed
she's
her.
got those chemicals flowing. She's like, ooh,
You know, as much as I want to be offended by that, I don't think you're totally wrong about it. Also, I do wonder if she has been thinking about him before this moment, before she happened to lock eyes with him.
Yeah.
That said, there are way crazier stories out there than people having met at 21, dated for a while, breaking up, and then, seeing each other again in their late 20s.
This is a rom-com thing. It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
But rom-coms, there's a reason why rom-coms are in the movies and not in real life.
Yeah. It's
How many
unlikely.
real-life rom-coms are you aware of?
Very, 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 very few.
Yeah. So, that's it.
Okay. Well, I maintain, Chrissy, it's worth just knowing. I think knowing with a capital K is king.
Sometimes knowing comes at a cost. sometimes you see some beautiful like dessert in a window and you're like, can I just have a little taste?
Yeah. And
Or
it
even
doesn't
worse, have you ever been sitting next to somebody? I'm an animal. But have you ever been sitting next to someone at dinner and they're done with their food?
Yeah.
And they're done eating something that you really, really
Yeah, and
wanted.
you kind of wish
and you're
you
like,
could just-
is it so wrong for me? Like there's a part you didn't touch. It's going to go right in the garbage. I mean,
I think about this all the time because it's just waste.
it's just waste.
You know, okay, I actually have a funny
You're not
celebrity.
eating. It's not like I'm offending you. It's not like you're like, excuse me, I paid for this. No, you don't care. You'd be happy. You're like, yeah, I take it. It's garbage.
I have a funny celebrity chef story.
Oh, okay.
I was on a date with a guy and where were we? We were like near Chinatown, Nolita area. And we were sitting next to Anne Burrell. Do you know who that is? She's a celebrity chef with like the big blonde sort of mohawk
Yeah, sure.
hairstyle.
Whatever.
She's a huge personality. And she was sitting with someone else from the Food Network that I don't remember who. But she was like, oh, do you like that thing on, like on our table? And we were sharing this thing. We each had our own dish. And we're like, yeah, it's really good. She's like, can I taste it? And we were like,
Oh, that's amazing.
we were like, yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
we'd be honored.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she took her fork and just like took a bite from the area where we hadn't touched
Amazing.
it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to order that. And I'm like, yeah, get it. Like, it didn't bother me at all.
Right? I mean, she was a celebrity. What if it was just some schmo? It was just like,
The thing
hey,
is-
can I have some of your spaghetti?
The thing is, I'm not sure that Anne Burrell is so famous that she's walking around like George Clooney, like, hey, can I have a taste of your whatever?
No, I think she understands food. She understands the communal activity.
Yeah.
It's like goes back to caveman times. You sit around like a boar and you enjoy it. It's like a bonding experience.
trough.
Yeah. And there's no reason why strangers can't enjoy each other's food. It's weird if you go into a restaurant alone and you don't get a table and you just wander in
Yeah.
and you start asking people if you can taste their food. I think that's bordering on a felony.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is we have to get back to the analogy because we're getting far. There was a reason why I
It
brought
was a
this
good
up.
story, though. It was worth mentioning.
It is.
Anne
That's a great
Burrell.
story.
I mean,
Oh,
that's a good story.
that's
I like
amazing.
my story.
I would love any celebrity to ask for my leftovers at a restaurant.
It wasn't even leftovers. We were still eating it.
Oh, that's even more badass.
I know.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like
Yeah,
her style.
It's a good move. Okay, sorry.
She knows food. But my point is you can't always just get a taste of something without buying the whole dish.
Okay.
That was my point. It loses a lot of steam when there's like 15 minutes between the punchline and the setup.
Yeah, sorry. My reaction, I think, was a bit of a letdown. Yeah, okay. But I also think she doesn't necessarily need to buy the whole dish to get the answer she needs.
You don't think that, but you don't have the emotions tied up in this situation.
No, but I can relate to her situation because I've been there many times. And she might discover that, she felt this initial spark at a wedding. Where they're, surrounded by love. They were there celebrating love. All this time had passed. They're both dressed up and feeling probably a little,
Frisky.
Yeah, well, when you're all dressed up and at a nice event, you're a little more. I think chemistry can be something it isn't necessarily if you bump into someone at the bodega.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth just seeing and then knowing.
Fine. But I'm just saying that knowing doesn't always come free.
Okay. I don't
It's a
disagree with
risk.
that. As long as she knows. Chrissy, as long as you know that you could end up, she could end up a little hurt by this. I don't know.
You're digging up a body, hoping that there's a really expensive ring that was on the finger that people forgot about. And it turns out there's no ring. And
now
it's just a stinky body.
Yeah, now you have to do all the work of putting it back in.
Yeah. And that's something I don't want to risk.
Okay.
I'll leave the body safely below ground.
All right. So, Chrissy, mixed answers on this one. Good luck. I think you'll do the right thing. So, Andy, we are living in a hotel. We have been for about a month. And what gets old fast, when you first get to a new city, you're like, oh, let's try this restaurant. Let's go there. And then, a Tuesday afternoon rolls around and we're both working.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is worry about lunch. And that's why we're such big fans of Factor. We order Factor back home in New York, and we've been ordering it here as well. Having a fresh, never frozen, healthy meal sitting, waiting in the fridge, ready to be heated up is a game changer. It's such a time saver. It takes away so much stress thinking about meal planning and just what to eat in general.
And let's be honest, it's very expensive. And it really adds up to get delivery or go out every single lunch.
Yes, because you're paying those restaurant prices even if it's takeout.
That's right. And you pay delivery fees. And it's sitting right in your refrigerator. And
Ready
it's
to go.
healthy and it's delicious. and it's half the cost.
And fresh.
And
it's fresh. And they really do accommodate all diets.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do not eat meat and they have a million options for us. This is really important to us. Because sometimes by the time you eliminate meat from a menu, you're like, oh, there's 2 options left.
Yeah, they kind of say, oh, we got to do non-meat stuff.
Yeah.
You're giving this crappy, they don't put their heart into it.
Yeah. So head to go.factor75.com/Shandy60 and enter promo code Shandy60 at checkout to save 60% off your first box.
That's code Shandy60 at go.factor75.com/Shandy60 to get 60% off your first box.
All right. This next question is from Anonymous. And this, by the way, is one of those Am I the Asshole questions.
I like
in fact,
these.
it's titled Am I the Jerk? I love these.
These
I
are
want
the
to have
best.
one of these in every Q&A.
Yeah, I want to tell her she's an asshole.
Dear Shandy, I, 27 female, am a bridesmaid in a childhood friend's wedding in a few months. We will call her Sarah. My other friend, 27 female, is a bridesmaid as well. We will call her Angie. The wedding is 800 miles away, so we will obviously have to travel. Angie and I discussed and were excited to go down a few days early to make a trip of it with her fiance and my boyfriend. The wedding is in a small town where flights to the nearest airport were extremely expensive, $800 plus. So we discussed flying into a larger city nearby and driving 3 hours to Sarah's town the morning of the wedding. God, weddings are a pain in the ass,
They
aren't they?
so are.
Oh my God.
God, people are really putting you out when they invite you to their
It's
wedding.
really unbelievable. I say that as people who have had a wedding.
I felt guilty.
Yeah,
for
I
our
felt
wedding.
guilty too.
I felt guilty.
Yes,
Yeah,
same.
I know you did.
After discussing details with my boyfriend, I learned he was unable to go as he had a hunting trip already planned for that weekend. After telling Angie, she was bummed but said that her fiance would still be going with us. I totally understand why she would want him to go, but this makes everything more difficult as they still planned to make a long weekend trip of it. They welcomed me to join their plans, but that would mean getting my own hotel room, joining them for every meal, and third wheeling the whole weekend. Her fiance is great and I have zero issues with him, but he is 10 years older than us and we just don't have a ton in common. I would fly down on my own and not make a trip of it, but I can't afford a plane ticket to the airport nearby, and renting my own car / driving 3 hours to her town would be kind of a hassle. Am I the jerk for wishing Angie would offer to come alone and not bring her fiance? Plane tickets have not yet been bought. He has met the bride maybe one time and does not know the groom at all. I tried to find another friend to come with me, but had no luck. Again, I totally understand that this is my problem and not hers, but if the roles were reversed, I would absolutely tell my boyfriend not to come and make a girl's trip out of it. How would you handle this situation, Anonymous?
Ooh.
Sticky.
Ooh, there's a lot of moving parts on this one.
Yeah, to me, this one is going to be so subjective because I can picture some people being like, that bitch, she should tell her fiance to stay home and come just for the wedding. It's a girl's trip. Then I can see other people being like, it's your boyfriend who can't come. She's engaged to the guy. They're making a trip out of it. Like, just be third wheel.
I lean towards Anonymous being a little bit of a jerk. With a heavy heart. Because if I was in her shoes, I'd also be a little annoyed, depending on how much I like the fiance.
So I think what she's annoyed by are circumstances that have nothing to do with Angie and the fiance. She's annoyed that it costs as much as it does. And, you know, it's a small town, renting and driving a car for 3 hours, all these things that, frankly, are what made this trip even a trip in the first place. Yeah. I have to agree. I actually think, Anonymous, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a jerk.
No, not a jerk, but I also think, you know, this is not some guy that her friend Angie's been dating for a few months.
It's not a rando.
It's her fiance. And they're also flying and making a trip out of it.
And she probably got him all pumped. Maybe he was psyched. He was like, oh, I'm into this. This is going to be fun. And then she's like, oh, by the way, you can't come because you have a penis. That's not fair.
It would be totally different if they had planned this girls' trip as just a girls' trip, and then Angie was like, oh, I'm inviting my fiance, and it's going to be a thing where now you're the third wheel.
Different.
It wasn't. They had this plan initially, and her, Anonymous's boyfriend, was not able to come. It's not Angie's fault. Like, I just think that she's asking too much of her friend to then cancel things. You know, she's excited to spend this time with her fiance too.
Well, you want to break it down into pure like
math?
Financial matters?
Okay.
Math? Yeah. Okay, the flight's $800 to this small town, right? Yeah. What's the flight to this other town that's nearby? It can't be any less than $400.
I don't know.
I mean, I've often looked for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And usually it's
We've
like
done that.
$150 less max. Like I've never, it's not like there's one town where it's 800 and like you drive 3 hours and it's like $200.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
It depends.
Unless
I
you're in
guess.
Alaska and you're driving to like an island where like only people like ice fish. It's like Nome to Ice Fish Island. That's the only time you go from 800 to 200. So the point is, we're talking about maybe $400, maybe. So is it worth $400 for her to avoid this trip that she's really not looking forward to? And if she can afford that $400, I'd say pay that money. Otherwise, stop, because you're gonna fracture potential friendship. This is not a good thing to get into. It's not a good idea to tell your friend to tell her fiance to buzz off for a trip he might have been excited for.
Yeah. I mean, you have to look at Angie and her fiance as close, if not closer than she is to Angie.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's also that element. You know, she says, oh, if my boyfriend could come and her fiance couldn't, I would tell him, you know, to forget it. But everyone's a little different in this. And I can think of a few girlfriends off the top of my head who would have Anonymous's perspective on this. But I've got to say, I side with Angie in this. No. And I just don't think it's the end of the world if you do play third wheel on this. You know, big deal. Like if you don't have that much to talk to the fiance about, I doubt he'll be around 24/7 anyway. Like I'm sure you can get away for some girl time here and there. I just don't think it's the end of the world. Oh, then she's concerned about getting her own hotel room and all that stuff. Yeah, I guess this just comes down to cost. You know, at the end of the day.
Cost.
Yeah.
How much is the hotel room? How much is the difference in flights? Is that amount of money worth you spending time with this friend's fiance? And honestly, maybe it'll be fun. Maybe she'll at the end be like, oh, you know what? I'm really glad he was there. That made it more fun.
It's possible.
I don't know.
It's totally possible.
I think she's being a jerk. Sorry. But you're a good Shandy.
I'm very interested. I'm sure some Shandies will come in here and feel otherwise. You know, the girlfriends that come to mind who I think would take her side are from the South. Isn't that interesting? I have some girlfriends who come to mind and they are from the South, and it's like, there's more of this like, we're girlfriends and like friends first. And actually, speaking of venting about your man, like they're the ones who'd be more likely to do that. The ones who might froth at the mouth at the idea of that.
They love a good venting below the Mason-Dixon.
I have friends who I'm sure would agree with her, but I think we both, unfortunately, take Angie's side.
You can't do that, because then you're not only, it's selfish. It's really what this is. It comes down to selfishness.
They're both being selfish. But the thing is, I don't think Angie's as wrong in being selfish.
No, she's not. She already told her fiance he's coming. You're being selfish, because what's going to happen is you might create a rift between them on top of a rift between you and your friend. You know, it's like going to the movies. Like you go to a multiplex with your friends and you're talking about it for a couple days. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see this movie. It's like a rom-com.
Okay.
Some generic rom-com.
All right.
And you're just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a girls' night at the movies. And you go to get to the movie theater and you're there and you see that there's like 16 movies in this movie theater.
Okay.
And you see that right next door to the rom-com is this horror movie that starts at the exact same time. And your friend's like, oh man, I really wanted to see that. And your other friend doesn't really like horror movies. And you're like, can we please see this? I really want to see this instead. And you've got yourself all psyched up for this rom-com. And now your friend's like, come on, we're in the movie theater. It's just right next door. It's a movie. We're just seeing a movie together. It's about us, right?
Yeah.
Let's just go see this horror movie. That's what it's like.
So the idea being derailing plans.
Derailing plans because of some kind of convenience
your
issue.
personal
Your
preference.
personal convenience issue.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. You made the plan, sleep in the bed.
You know who the real asshole is? The friend Sarah who's having her wedding in a small town where it cost $800 to get there.
Yes. You, Sarah, are an asshole. Anonymous, you're just a jerk.
All right, Anonymous. Sorry, we didn't side with you on this one, but I'm sure you will figure it out and have a nice time no matter what. And good luck.
Shandy giveth and taketh.
All right, this next question is from a male Shandy.
A male Shandy?
I know.
A Mandy?
A Mandy named T.
Nice.
Dear Shandy, I, 36 male, Midwest, have been dating my girlfriend, 30 female, for a couple of years now. We live together. We also work together in a niche industry. We met at work and got together as my marriage from my longtime partner, 34 female, was breaking up. My girlfriend is a great person. She's smart, ambitious, attractive, and caring. She cooks great meals for us nearly every day. It's such a man thing to say.
He's like smart, caring, whatever. She cooks meals.
You know, growing up, I thought that was overrated. You know, the saying, the way to a man's heart. It's unbelievable how much you love being cooked for. It's insane.
If you cooked for me exclusively, like all my meals, you cooked for me.
Yeah.
And other than that, you're a total bitch. I'd be happy.
I mean, you've told me before that you stayed with a girlfriend far longer than you would have because of her paella.
I mean, it was such a mean paella.
So ridiculous.
I still think about it.
Despite this, I know she's not the one, and I am not sure how to tell her. She has started to drop hints about marriage, and I feel like I would be settling for something I know isn't quite right, even though it is comfortable. The same thing happened with my prior marriage. I have only ever been in long-term relationships. The house I'm sharing with my girlfriend now is her house, and I moved in from the house I shared with my ex. Ooh, I haven't been on my own in years. The other issue around leaving the relationship is that doing so would cause tension at work. I've been in this job for nearly a decade. The thought of looking for something else is daunting. I would prefer to stay, but I feel like I'd have to leave if I ended the relationship with my girlfriend out of respect to her. Am I being foolish to consider leaving this relationship? How should I proceed? Thanks, T.
Can I tell you something? I'm going to say something that I really believe, and people disagree with me. If you're ever thinking seriously for a long time about leaving a relationship, you should leave the relationship.
Why would anyone have a problem with that?
What?
Who would disagree with that?
No, people are going to say, oh no, you should give it a shot. He's going to have problems.
No, I think everyone will agree with you. They've been together for a couple of years. He knows it's not right. My big thing is that T, you're not doing her any favors by staying with her.
Well, that's
like,
a given.
let her go. Set her free.
Yeah.
She's 30. She's going to have a great time. She's going to have a very easy time out there dating, especially with all those delicious meals.
Oh my God. She's got the pick of the litter. Oh, what's tonight? Eggplant parmesan? I love you.
Yes. Set her free, T. Set her free. You're not doing her a favor. You're not giving her the gift of your company. Let her go. She thinks this is going towards marriage. You know it's not. Let her go.
Yes.
And if that means you need to leave the job, you do it because it's the right thing to do. Or if there's a way to make it work and you stay, then do that. But for the love of God, let her go.
If I've learned one lesson in life, is that even if you move to the moon for a partner, the moon, not proverbially, I'm saying literally, you bought a spaceship. You spent all your money on the spaceship.
Okay.
You went to the moon. You had spacesuits. You built. You carried wood. You know how much it costs to transport wood and building materials to the moon?
It's lot.
Like each pound is like $1 million.
Okay. All right. So
you get there. You build the house, and you find out you're not really into the partner. You leave the moon.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I don't know why the moon needed to be necessary. You could have just said another continent.
No, I had to take it to the extreme because I want to make it clear there's no exception to this rule.
Yeah.
If a relationship is not right, forget about the logistics, forget about the work, forget about the place. You have to go because this is your life.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's so, he already learned this lesson. He said it didn't feel right in his last relationship and he got out of it. I get the impression that there might have been a little bit of overlap. We met at work and got together as my marriage for my longtime partner was breaking up. He moved straight from that other house to his girlfriend's house.
Rebounds are dangerous,
He
especially
knows,
when it's workmates.
T, you know, you've already learned this lesson. At what point are you going to implement the lesson that you have learned?
From a man, I'm telling you, as a Mandy, I'm telling you, I've made this mistake. Don't linger. You're done. It's over. You may be able to stay in this industry. You may be able to stay in this job. It may work out. You may be able to keep most of the things that you think you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But you got to get rid of the relationship because you can get a new job. You can find new money. You can find a new apartment. But if the connection's not there and you know she's not the one, she's not going to become the one.
No, she's not. Honestly, the more I think about this question, the more it miffs me. I'm miffed. Because it just reeks of that passivity.
Yeah, it's passive.
You know, we talk a lot about men being passive. They're like, yeah, I like her. She's great. No offense, T. I'm not coming at you. It's just like in general, men. It's like this woman's cooking for him every day. She probably helped him get over that breakup with his ex-wife. He's living in her house. she's great, she's beautiful, she's caring, she's ambitious, all these things. It's like, if you know she's not the one and she's making hints about marriage, it's like, let her go. Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. Is it worth getting into another marriage that you're not happy with because you saved like some job awkwardness?
Yes.
Come on. The amount of damage that you're going to cause to her and yourself for letting this linger on and become something more complicated is going to way outweigh the amount of work and logistics that you're going to have to deal with if you end it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, breakups are always inconvenient. It's not like they own the house together. It sounds like it's her house. Maybe he pays rent or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he pays half the mortgage. It could be a lot more complicated. They could be married with kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's inconvenient to break up with people, period.
You have the luxury of ending this without any real meaningful entanglements, except this work thing, which, trust me, in the end, 2-3 years down the road, you're not going to even remember.
Mm-hmm. Set her free. I mean it, T. I feel very strongly about this one. Don't be another one of those guys that's like, and drags their feet and wastes women's time. When I read this, I feel 30 Fs. I don't know anything about her. The girlfriend. I feel her time being wasted as we discuss this. And I am irked. Miffed, I say.
This is, not to coin an extremely hackneyed phrase, this is cutting off your nose to spite your face by staying in this relationship.
Totally. Yes. All right, T. I know I went a little hard on you, but good luck.
It's over.
All right. This next question is from R as in the letter. Dear Shandy. First, just wanted to tell you guys that I recently started to listen to the pod and it has quickly become my most favorite.
Yay.
I'm obsessed with your Q&As. I've gone back and listened to every single one. I'm hoping you can help me with what initially sounds like a silly problem, but actually causes a fair amount of friction in my daily life. Here goes. I'm a 36-year-old female and I love reality TV. My husband of almost 10 years, 40 years old, we'll call him G, does not. Over the pandemic, we've both taken steps to better our mental well-being and get rid of things/people/situations that don't serve us anymore, and our evening entertainment has taken a major hit. My husband prefers to watch dramas, very serious shows with heavy plots. I used to be able to tolerate these types of shows, but ever since becoming a mom 7 years ago, we've got 2 littles, my mom brain cannot handle them. They cause me pretty significant anxiety, and I find them overwhelming and overall completely unenjoyable. I suffered from postpartum anxiety, and although that is gone, I cannot watch anything that depicts children in bad situations. It's very triggering and stressful to me. On the other side, my husband says the shows I want to watch, quote, make him feel bad and give him anxiety. I primarily watch reality dating and competition shows, Bachelor franchise, Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, Love is Blind, The Circle, Temptation Island, the list could go on. I like these types of shows because each season is different, while at the same time somewhat predictable. So they are my TV safe space. Haha. Admittedly, my husband put up with my bad TV up until the past year or so. Now we are at a stalemate. G works a lot of hours and I do not watch TV during the day because I'm busy with the kids and don't want my kids exposed to grown-up TV. The only time we both have to enjoy our shows is from 8 to 10 p.m. We've gotten into many arguments over it because we both feel like we deserve to have our guilty TV pleasure time after the kids are in bed. It's led to us watching our own shows in separate rooms and resentment because in truth, we'd like to be spending that time together. It makes me sad, but here we are, both being pretty stubborn. Am I crazy? Is it wrong that I kind of feel like G is being petty? I don't want to ditch my shows because I love them and it is something I really look forward to. I listen to a lot of podcasts about these shows, which keeps me company as a somewhat isolated stay-at-home mom. Again, it's more than just not liking his shows. They really do give me serious anxiety. I feel like TV should be enjoyable. Can you help me, Shandy? Or tell me if I'm being ridiculous or valid in my feelings? Your takes always seem to simplify things in the best of ways, and I'm hoping for some Shandy clarity. Much love, R.
She's being ridiculous.
Well, so his shows cause her anxiety, and her shows make him feel sad.
But they're watching shows separately. TV shouldn't be the basis of a marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a nice thing when you like the same shows.
Yeah, well, it's their time they spend together, but I feel about this the way I feel about sleeping. Remember, it's like this isn't representative of your relationship. Who cares if you're watching the same show together side by side on the same sofa?
As a matter of fact, one of our newlywed questions in our Love Fests is what show do you watch because of your partner?
Yes.
So part of TV is sacrificing in itself.
Yeah.
So if you're watching TV separately, so be it.
Yeah.
You both get what you want. You're not having the communal experience. Fine. But that's not really quality marriage time anyway, to be honest with you. When I'm watching Game of Thrones, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm so happy I'm spending time with Sharleen. I'm into Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Like you might not even, I forget you're there.
Yeah, no. If anything, we'll just sort of like chime in here or there. But I don't really consider that active together time. And not to bring it back to newlyweds games that we do, but another question, which has sort of fallen off the map, but we have asked this many times, is what would you most want? Separate bedrooms, separate
TVs.
bathrooms, or separate TV? And I think that says a lot right there. Not everyone's going to have the same taste. And I'm just going to get it out of the way that we can relate, because Andy likes to watch shows that I simply have no interest in. Like like Yellow Jackets. I'm like
City on a Hill.
City on a Hill, Euphoria, all these shows.
And there's stuff that I don't even tell you about. I literally I'm ashamed. I watch some things on Netflix that I don't even tell you about.
Oh.
That's so not up your alley that I can't even think about letting you know that I'm actually watching them.
Can't
I think
even
you'll
think
judge
about
me.
letting me know that. Okay, yeah, they stress me out. Meanwhile, I want to watch Selling Sunset, and you're like, shoot me. I think that's okay. I really just don't think you have to have the same taste in everything.
No.
Honestly, if you could pick to have the same taste in only a couple of things and not others, yeah. I would way rather make sure we have the same taste in food.
Oh,
so when
food's important.
Yeah, so when I'm craving Thai food, you're like, yeah, I could go for Thai. That's so much more important to me than being like,
way
yeah,
more
let's,
important than TV.
let's tear into some terrace house.
Yeah, travel and food.
Yeah.
Two things that are way, way more important to have similar tastes in
And
television.
parenting. Oh my God, they have 2 kids. So
and parenting.
Yeah,
well,
I just think that this isn't really a big deal.
No.
I think that you're making this together time out to be more than it is. I don't really think it's that much together time, honestly. You're just in the same place at the same time, watching the same thing. You know, when people would say dinner and a movie is a really bad first date because the movie you're not actually together, it's so true.
Oftentimes, I'm annoyed by the person I'm seeing a movie with. They're like chatting to me during the movie.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't
stop
want to hear
engaging
you. I don't
with me.
want to hear you. I don't want to know I just want to know there's a body near me.
Yeah.
So I'm not alone in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm okay with too.
Yeah, Andy does see movies by himself.
Yeah, I do. It's enjoyable. But I will say this, that seeing a movie or watching TV with someone is the lowest form of hanging out. there
Yes.
is.
I think you would be way better served to make an intentional date night once a week, or one day a week. You find one show that you can get on the same page about, or play a board game, or do something that's like intentional together time. Every other night, like look forward to your show. Look forward to your Love is Blind. Like, great. That's awesome.
The worst thing about watching TV that you like is watching it with someone who's judging you.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it worse than not watching
Well,
anything.
that's why I don't like watching my shows with you there, because
and
I'm like,
give
I
you
just
that
want to watch my
latitude.
trash. Just let me watch my trash in peace.
And I like letting you wash your trash. I like watching you watch your trash without me having to watch it with you. And there are shows, I refuse to believe there's not some place where you guys meet. Like White Lotus, for example.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah.
show.
That's one of
Not
the shows
too
we
heavy,
watched together.
But interesting, heavy enough that someone who likes drama would be into it. And light enough that someone who likes reality TV would be engaged.
Yeah. White Lotus has been a real sweet spot for us.
Yeah.
And documentaries and things like
Documentaries,
that.
nature shows. I think you can find a sweet spot. I think you need to do a little more work to find that perfect medium of a show where you both can watch. But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with watching shows in separate rooms. It's actually delightful.
Yeah. It's just
You
like,
both get to enjoy time alone, doing things that you like, and then you reconnect.
yeah, it's just like sleeping separately. It's
Yeah.
sleep time. It's functional. This is functional. You're unwinding after a long day. It's not you connecting deeply on an emotional level.
I agree.
All right, our good luck. I don't think you need it. I think you're overthinking this one.
Enjoy your trash TV.
All right, this next question is from J as in the letter. Dear Shandy, this is likely a unique question and would love to hear your and the Dear Shandy community's thoughts. I, 34 female, have a cat, 6 male. He is a beautiful Russian blue.
Oh,
Andy loves Russian blues.
I do.
With a feisty yet loyal personality. The problem, in the year 2016, when there was only a handful of scandals to date, I named my cat Kanye.
Oh, no.
To be clear, I was a fan, not a major fan, just an everyday fan, but the name felt right. I've stuck with the name through many, many ups and downs, but now it feels officially time to retire the name. The solution seems
Well, he
simple.
can call him Yay. Because that doesn't work either.
The solution seems simple. Rename the cat. However, my husband refuses to, not out of loyalty to human Kanye, but that in it feels ridiculous to rename a 6-year-old cat. At this point, the name feels outright offensive, and there are times when my neighbors hear me screaming Kanye from the house with no other context. Any suggestions? Am I being overly sensitive? Any good names that rhyme with Kanye? Thank you for the time. You two always make me laugh. I've never loved a Bachelor recap more, Jay. P.S. For context, my husband and son are Jewish, which is a driving factor here. The name Kanye is something I no longer want to support.
That's a tough one. I would say
you're the former cat owner. So.
Look, I mean, I understand that, as many people probably don't, is that a cat knows its name very well.
Unlike dogs?
No. I think people just think of cats as like doing their own thing. They're like, I don't care, name, whatever. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I don't care what you call me. But it's actually totally not true.
Yeah.
Cats know their name very well.
Yeah.
Like I used to do this thing. I had a cat, a Russian blue mix.
Yeah.
Called Rain.
Yes.
Rain. I mean, very dear to my heart. May she rest in peace.
Rain. Why did you name her Rain again?
Well, she was the color of rain, and it was raining when we got her.
Okay.
And the song Rain, which at the time, this is like 100 years ago, came on the radio. And I was like, oh, Rain.
Wait, the song Rain, who sings that?
Oh, man, it's from like 93.
Let it rain.
No. It's like Rain is the opener of the chorus. It's like rain, like falling on. It sounds Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
It's like 93, 94. And it's like rain something.
And it's raining.
No, and it's like rain on a Sunday day.
No, I'm singing it. It's like raining on your wedding day.
Yes.
It's ironic by Alanis
Yes, it's
Morissette.
ironic. Yeah.
Are you sure that's the one?
No. Not at all.
Okay.
But the cat's name was Rain.
Okay.
That I know.
All right.
And I used to do this trick.
Wait, you should tell the Shandies to think of it.
Yeah, if you guys can think of a song, we're thinking like 90, like early to mid 90s, female vocalist, Rain is in the chorus. I don't know. Come up with something. Thank you.
I believe in them.
So anyway, cat's name was Rain.
Yes.
And I used to do this trick when it was like a party trick.
Okay.
I used to say rain, then snow, then rain, then snow. And the cat, my cat, Rain, it's not the cat, it was very dear to my heart, would meow every time I said rain.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
So I would say rain,
Meow.
snow, rain,
Meow.
snow, rain. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, rain,
Meow.
snow, rain,
Meow.
snow, rain.
Meow. Wait, what if you said lane
Nope.
or pain?
Nothing.
Gain.
Oh, no. Gotta keep going. I think I'm suddenly gonna be like, oh yeah, that one.
You're telling me if you said lane,
No.
she wouldn't.
You are belittling cats.
I only say that because my dog Avery.
Your dog
growing up-
Avery had mental problems.
No, most dogs you can rename.
No, Avery was
You can rename a dog. Like you're telling me that if Rain had to be put up for adoption at around 6 years old, and then someone else adopted her and was like, I don't like the name Rain. I'm going to name her. So I don't give me a name.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, you're telling me Rain over time wouldn't respond to Cleopatra.
Yeah, maybe over 2-3 years, eventually she'd get used to the new name.
Yeah, but also there'd be a new home, a new environment. Like everything would be new. So
I honestly think it's because I got her when she was like 3 weeks old. I think it's stuck. I think she knows the name Rain.
Okay, so your point being that you don't think that Jay should rename
I
Kanye.
think that the cat's name is Kanye.
I mean, I understand the predicament. I understand why she's like, I don't want to have my cat's name be Kanye anymore.
Well, this is not dissimilar from our previous Q&A question where the brother-in-law steals the baby name.
It's not the same.
Is you felt it was fine to rename the dog?
Yeah, but the dog was a puppy. It was brand new.
Right. So that you're more right in that situation than renaming the cat now. Yes, it's socially a little unacceptable for a lot of people to name your cat Kanye.
Yeah.
But the cat's not a kitten. If the cat was a little kitten and his name was Kanye, there'd be a lot more judgment. Let's be honest.
I mean, for me, I'm not familiar enough with cats and their attachment to their own names to know.
But
I
know.
only have experience with a dog, and you seem to be very sure that
Cats?
Rain would not have responded to Lane.
No, they know their name and they appreciate their name and they love their name. And that cat loves the name Kanye.
You know, in a way, it's kind of a funny story.
That's what I'm saying. It's funny. But it's sort of not funny for some people.
Yeah.
There's going to always be a
You're
couple
the
people.
You're the Jewish one in the room. You're the one who's allowed to say this.
As a Jewish person, I would find it hilarious if the cat was named Kanye, because I knew there was no malice. Was the cat 6 years old?
Yes.
Kanye was, he was okay 6 years ago. Well, 6 years ago, Kanye, I take.
And 6 years ago, Kanye didn't go by Ye. Now you would name the cat Ye.
Yeah. Kanye isn't Ye's name anymore. Kanye's a different person. Kanye, 2015 Kanye, I'm okay with. I'm okay with Kanye 2015. He's writing good songs. I like his songs. He's not talking too much.
He already has that God complex, though.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys do. That's standard fare. I think you keep the name. It's a joke. It's funny. A couple of people are going to get offended because they don't have a sense of humor, and that's life. But they're not going to be that offended. No one's going to come over and be like, I am never speaking to you again. Your cat is named Kanye, who you named 6 years ago. No one's going to ever get upset about it. Really upset.
Plus, I do think it would be an uphill battle because Jay says that her husband says no, like he would never rename it.
Don't rename the cat. Just leave it Kanye. Maybe try to see if Khan goes. It's not a great name.
Just
That's maybe the
test it
worst
out.
cat name of all time.
What about Conde? I was thinking candy, but like Conde.
Oh my Lord.
She said things that rhyme with Kanye. I don't know. I feel for her. But I actually do think the name Kanye for a cat is really funny.
It's an amazingly funny name.
Yes.
It's so funny.
And it's made almost funnier by how much Kanye sucks.
It was funny when he didn't suck, and it might be slightly funnier when he sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily show fandom.
I think what the name actually conveys is spite. So just Kanye. The cat's name is Kanye. It's a spite name. Think of it that way. It's a spite name.
Okay, well, I think you answered that one. I don't feel fully qualified to answer this one. Good luck. It's a very interesting predicament. When she said it's a unique question, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
All right, then, Andy, that is a wrap for this Q&A because I have a dress rehearsal to go sing. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, leave us Apple and Spotify podcast ratings and reviews, and generally do all of the things that you would do to support a podcast that you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.